the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
Hey everybody, George Tucker from AVNation here at Infocomm15 in the Innovation Pavilion. I'm here with Eric deLima Rubb, and he is with Propared. They are an event staffing project management software system that's really unique. Tell me a little bit more about how you guys work this.
Sure. So our founders were running a production company in New York City for a lot of years, and what they kept coming up against was there weren't really any software solutions that were designed for live event project management. Lots of stuff out there for traditional corporate management where you have long timelines, months, maybe even years to work on single big projects with a ton of internal people. But in live events, I mean, you know, we probably have a couple of people on staff full time, but then dozens, sometimes, you know, hundreds of freelancers coming in and out in a yearly calendar.
Contact information and who sees who
Exactly,
where.
and sort of how do you continue to manage all that information as a project manager, but still retain control over it when all these people are coming in and out? Coupled with the fact that those people need to have access to that information too. Even if they're on site for one day, they got to know where they need to be, when they need to be there, and what they're doing. So we started to develop this internal database to track everything, and we had 2 full-time production managers running a production company, and we executed about 400 live events in a single year, generated about $2 million in revenue, and saved ourselves over $100,000 that year. And we said, I think we're onto something. Let's actually try to build this out and see if we can't make it happen. So we really took the key elements of what anybody working in live events is trying to master, which is people and time, and how we communicate with them. And that's what we used as the basis to really build the foundation of Prepare.
Old school way would be hundreds of emails, a mass email,
right.
BCCing people, which is terrible.
It's like a list this long,
yeah. That long, and the changes can't be just one group.
Right.
Now, so you do the event scheduling, the time, the names, and getting everybody together.
Yeah.
But is there more to the back end? Can I do my labor rates? Can I set all those kind of schedules and do overtime and things like that?
So that's great that you said that. The way that we've built the program now is in a lot of the pre-planning and the front-end work for a manager. How do you set up your entire project timeline? Pull all the people in that you need to pull in, get booking requests out to them, make sure who can confirm and work and come and join you on site. And then how do you get paperwork to everybody? How do you get their call sheets and schedules and everything like that? And what we have coming down the pipeline is to take all that information in pre-planning and then be able to really provide the manager a powerful, significant tool to be able to debrief a project, you know, looking at booking hour totals and being able to aggregate all that information.
Really
and by building it into this single platform, we've now created a home where it lives. So you don't have to go through all your timesheets and your call sheets and start to manually pull it together, because you got one thing in Excel, and you got another thing in Dropbox, and you got another thing in Google Drive, which are all good tools, but they're good tools because live event people are really creative, and they find creative ways to make that all sync together. So we feel like we've laid the groundwork to be able to continue to add features like that over the next couple of months, and just continue to build on what in essence is the same workflow for a lot of people.
Now, you talked about it being from our end, from the sort of scheduler's end, but
yeah.
The people that are scheduled, sometimes they're not available or they need to tell you something specific about
Right.
their hours. There's an option there to at least inform the folks scheduling of that, right?
Absolutely. So what we do is you maintain a global address book in your project portfolio. And it's got everybody that you work with, all the organizations too, and any locations that you might work, all in the same address book. And then what you can do when you're booking people or letting people know that you need them for a call is you send out booking requests. But anybody at any given time can update you and let you know their status. Do they have a conflict? Are they unavailable? And then you can go in and add that information to your general list of their availability. So that anytime, if I'm trying to book George on a light hang and I need him in 2 days, as soon as I try to send you a booking request, Prepared's automatically going to tell me George isn't available then, so you got to find somebody else. Or I could just throw double work your way and go, I don't care, I'm sending George an email anyway.
Double dip. I like
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Double.
Exactly.
So where does all this information live? because we're going to want it on site, right? So is it
Yeah.
just on the computer? Where else am I getting this?
So we built it as an entirely cloud-based service. So as long as you're connected to the internet, you can have access to it and sync it in real time. We host it ourselves, so when you're creating an account with us, it really is a personal login for you, incredibly secure, and no one else has access to it but you and anybody else that you give some kind of access to. So really, in a sense, you're not responsible for where am I storing stuff and when. We take care of all of that for you, and it's really then up to you to how you want to customize certain things within the program.
Take me a little test drive here,
Sure.
if you can, and show me just a quick example of how I would prepare this.
Sure. So once you sign into the program, there's really two main layers to the program, I guess. One we call a portfolio view and one we call a project view. And the portfolio view, this is really the home for you to manage your Propared account. You'll have different sections like your global address book, like we talked about, list of all your sections. You'll have a list of all the projects that you have running, as well as all the projects that might be on their way to being closed and any that are archived that are in the past. At any point, you can change the status of any of these, because we all know that you might think something's done and then you got to do a couple more things. The other thing that you have here is the ability to manage your billing and your subscriptions, any of your personal settings, upload photos, as well as grant access to anybody that you want to come on board and help you manage a project or an entire portfolio. In the project view, this is really where you do the bulk of your work. This is where you create your projects, you build teams, you build your timeline, you track all your booking information across your projects, and you generate all your paperwork. The way that we do this is we use this stuff in the global address book and your contact information to act as a reference point for building a project team. So we use a sort of smart tagging feature that allows you to simply type somebody's name and we'll recognize it from your address book. You automatically add them to your team. It pulls in any information you've previously entered. So in a couple of minutes, you can literally create a subset of your contact list to serve as a project team. You can sort them by any sort of role or department, add all different kinds of tags, whatever makes the most sense for you. Because we know that, you know, whether you work in corporate or you work in live events or you work in theater even, or trade shows, we all talk about relatively the same things, but we might have different names for it. Right. So we don't try to assume how you try to refer to things.
All right, so where can people find out more about you and the software?
Check us out on Propared.com, no www, just Propared.com.
That's Propared, P-R-O.
P-R-O-P-A-R-E-D. We've got a lot of information about the different kinds of plans that we offer. We are offering 30-day free trials to anybody who wants to just take it out for a test spin. You'll have complete access to every feature that's available within the program, as well as be a part of this process for us. We are still in our preview stage where we're just trying to really connect with live event professionals and see what makes the most sense for them and try to build out the program to best support their needs. So check us out there, check us out on all the classic social channels, and if you want, we'll send you pictures of our local mascot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something I want to hear about afterwards.
Yeah. Right.
All right, well, this has been Propared with deLima, Rubb. I want to thank him and check them out.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.